Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am Moegamat Nathri Effendi, the fifth generation of Hassanuddin Effendi. I was born in this house, 71 Wales Street. I want to tell you the history of my great-great-grandfather, which was Hassanuddin Effendi, well known as Karel the Pilgrim. And he put foot on South Africa's soil 1836. My great-great-grandfather came here and he was sent by his father Abdullah, which was a tradesman in Egypt. And Hassanuddin inherited the nickname Karel the Pilgrim. And that was because at that time this was British colony, and somehow he did something wrong where he was so-called punished, and he had to do his service. And with that interim service, he was a slave at one of the British colony dignitaries, if I must say so. And there, they couldn't probably pronounce his name Hassanuddin, and that's where he got the name Karel. And after Karel has done his service, he felt that the name Karel was more freedom to him than Hassanuddin. And because he wanted to go back to his father, he used a good excuse and got some people together to take them on a pilgrimage trip to go to Mecca. And because Karel met quite a number of dignitaries at that time, that he approached one of them to say, look, you'd like to do this. And they all said, yes, Karel shouldn't be a problem. So Hassanuddin was one of the first to take people to Mecca. And that's how he got back to see his father. And after the pilgrim trip, he came back to South Africa. And that's where his father gave him money to open up the Muslim school, which was in Castle Street. It was the first Muslim school that was built here in South Africa. Karel did not live too long, and his son, which was Moegamat Effendi, took over the legacy. And he continued with the school and played a major role in the community. He was one of the founders of the Mowbray Cemetery, which still exists today. Mahmoud was a well-known figure in the community and was involved in various developments here in South Africa. Mahmoud's son, which was my grandfather, Imam Darwish, he took over from his father's legacy. And that is a continuing of the school in Castle Street. And he was Imam at Dorp Street Mosque, the Oval Mosque. And my grandfather had a golden heart, because this house, 71 Wales Street, as we would say, was the house of knocks. Just about everybody came here with their problems. And Imam Darwish, he could solve just about everybody's problems. So when my grandfather passed on, my grandmother continued. And being a female, it was difficult to sort of entertain the males. At that time, it was very strict, where the females had to cover their face when a male was in their presence. But may it be my grandmother, Mariam Kahafat, she was well known for. Nobody ever called her Mariam Effendi, because her parents was also leaders in the community. They were imams. And my grandmother played a major role in the female community and the male community, because many of the so-called imams that was still around and they didn't succeed in getting information from my grandfather, they used to come to this house and ask my grandmother where she could still continue with her husband's legacy. So this house, I just want to mention, is nothing in what we see today. It was a house from Whale Street to practically the back of Dorp Street. It had 25 rooms in this house, and everybody that was in a bit of trouble and needed a roof over their head, this is where they came and this is where they started their life. So it was a house with lots and lots of good, if I must say so. And there's very few that can still talk about this house. I feel honored to give you a little bit of this history. Shukran.